So what attracted you to becoming chief executive here at Leicestershire, first of all?
I think it was, it's two things really from a personal point of view. I just recently finished an MBA at Warwick, which is something that I always wanted to do. So from the whole business side of things, that was something that really increased my knowledge and understanding about a whole host of things. But also in my previous employment, working for Chance to Shine as a chief exec, I'd been doing that for 9 years. It was a very successful charity. Everything just felt right to move on, and this opportunity came along. And I just felt it was the right time, and it was a great challenge, and it was something that I really wanted to take up.
From an outsider's point of view then, what have you made of what Leicestershire have been doing over the last few years?
You'd always look in and you'd always hear lots of things, and it was always documented there were so many things that were going wrong at the club. One thing I found, having been here for a couple of months now, is there's a huge number of passionate people who want Leicestershire to do well, who are based here at the club. I think what I've tried to do is provide some real leadership and direction, try to support people, try to be really clear about where we're going and what's required, and try to let people get on with their jobs. And I think that's really, really important, to empower people to be able to make decisions. And that's certainly been my philosophy during the first 2 months.
Kind of a fresh start is needed, isn't it?
Yeah, we've made quite a few changes in terms of brought new personnel in as well. And that always freshens things up. So it's been, I guess we've got quite a young group generally who are vibrant, as I said, real passionate about wanting the club to do well. So I've been able to sort of address the players, I've been able to address the staff, and try and create a real sort of collaborative sort of environment for everyone to work together to try and get this club back on track again.
It's a wonderful ground. You've obviously played here, I would think, in the past, and you know about the facilities here, both for the cricketers and for the public, really. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, from a success point of view, this club has got a history of winning competitions and trophies. Even in the mid-90s, back into the 90s, winning the 2 championships and winning the three T20s sort of from 2000 onwards. There's a huge, rich tradition here. It's a very historical club. There's lots of very loyal people, and that's certainly what I found here in the city of Leicester, is that everybody wants a club to do well, whether you're a football fan or a rugby fan. And there's a real family feel about sport in this city, which I've never come across in any other city before.
Did you have any success here as a batting here or bowling here?
I remember getting 100 here, playing second team cricket for Warwickshire back in '92. I got 140 not out, and then actually in a second 11 game here back in '96, I got 155 in the first innings and 170 in the second innings. So from that point of view, very, very successful. I only played a couple of first-class games here. Didn't do very well, I don't think, in those games.
Andrew McDonald played for the club some years ago. He's come in as your new head coach, working with Ben Smith and Lloyd Tennant. I know Andrew is a player, and I'm sure he'll motivate people as a coach as well, won't he?
Yeah, definitely. People said a lot about Jason Gillespie when he went to Yorkshire. What credentials does he have? But look at the success he's made of Yorkshire. All I hear about Andrew McDonald are really positive and good things from lots of people, saying that he's got a really good cricket brain, he's a top individual, he's huge around sort of learning and development and creating the right environments. I met him in December, went out to see him for 2 weeks to really get to understand what he's about as a person, what his plans are and ideals, to really convey what my aspirations are for the club, where we want to go, and I'm really looking forward to working with him.
Let's talk about T20, because obviously you know the history of the club, and they've been very successful in that competition, in the Paul Nixon era almost, I suppose. But obviously it's a competition that the public love, and obviously we'd like to see you do well in again, I think.
Yeah, definitely. T20, you get different types of audiences coming to T20. It's short, sharp, it's how you perform on the day. So, we've got a track record and a belief within T20, having had the previous successes. So there's no reason for us not to be successful again. We've got some very, very good one-day cricketers as well. The likes of Tom Wales, for example, who are starting to excel and come through now. So we're looking forward to it again. We're on a level playing field with everybody else, and we need to face the season with real optimism across all competitions.
And you were saying to me earlier, you've been travelling around trying to get people interested in coming to the club. You're doing your research on other clubs as well. So you're obviously trying to set the ground, aren't you? Set the ground ahead of you.
Yeah, the difficulty always is that you have to be over so many areas when you first start a job. And for me, you know, one of the things was to get out and visit some of the other counties who are doing really well, to find out what's made them successful. So how they're doing things around marketing T20, what do they do about the community work they do, you know, and what do they do with their customers, and making sure that, you know, we've got some good plans in place. So from that point of view, it's been really important for me to get out and talk to people. There's obviously a lot going on here that we need to get on with, so lots of short-term wins we need to get on and be ready to hit the road running.
Second team did well last season though, and that shows that really you've got an academy that's progressing, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at the history of the academy here, it's probably the most successful in the country. The likes of Luke Wright, you know, Gurney, you know, James Taylor, Stuart Broad. These guys have all come through the academy system, and, you know, quite a few of the guys we've currently got on the staff have come through the system. So there's some, you know, we've got, you know, strong pedigree when it comes to that. I guess the key thing for us is to make sure that players are progressing from second 11 into the first team, and there's a strong push for competition for places, but also that we're transitioning a lot of the young people from county age groups into the academy and then into first class cricket. So that's a real benchmark for us, the kids that are getting into academy and then pushing on to become pro cricketers.
We see lots of history behind you, players been and gone, your David Gowers and so on. I guess from your point of view, you want to create new history in the future, don't you? Yeah,
definitely. You know, it's a great opportunity because the club hasn't been successful over the last 3-4 years. So there's a great opportunity now to build something. It couldn't have, in complete honesty, it couldn't have got any worse than what it was last year around championship. We haven't won a championship game for 2 years. We've had some good successes in one-day cricket, but now's a real opportunity. The benchmark for any county is how they perform in county cricket. So we need to up the ante in terms of that, get harder on ourselves. We need to create a culture of accountability, so people, if they're paid to do jobs, are expected to deliver. We need to move away from people who've been here 10 or 15 years and therefore they've got a job for life. This is going to be a results culture that we need to develop here if we're going to move the club forward on and off the field.
And you know, when this ground's full, it's a pretty good atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, it rocks. You know, there's a brilliant atmosphere, real siege mentality. That's what we want to do for all our 8 T20 games at home. We want to fill the ground up and make sure we've got all the community from Leicester coming out, supporting the club and pushing us on, hopefully, to greater things.